And it is recording.
Hello.
Making sure. I'm gonna zoom out and then zoom back in to make sure. Okay. Definitely
Hello,
recording.
Feature Beck. Hello, Feature Beck.
Hi. Alright, so I took some notes of last week's secret session. So I think I guess I'll just go through the notes so it's in the recording for my sanity. Alright, so welcome back to Paeoma! Where we last left off, we went back in time to a week earlier, where we meet back up with Wersed, who's hanging out in Cheafeport and has decided to go along with Lorenzo on his plans, which he doesn't know the plans of yet. So he wakes up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Is that the words? I don't remember.
Hey, that thing. I'm just ready to rock and roll. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, so he decides to go to the Groga household. Because Lorenzo had promised that he would talk to his father and try and reconcile and fix their relationship before going ahead and doing whatever the hell it is he wants to do. So Wersed goes to the house and he overhears some of the conversation, but it's a little bit fuzzy, so he just barges on in. And Lady Groga's like at her wit's end. She's like, I can't with these two. I'm out of here. And it is Lorenzo and Toba. They're fighting, as they usually are, at each other's throats, saying that they're scheming, that they're destroying the family's future, yada yada yada. And Lorenzo's like, bro, chill. Everyone calm down. Then Lorenzo's fully pissed off, and he's like, yeah, I'm a go now. I did my best.
I will not calm down.
I will not be silent.
I will be in a rage.
In a rage, he's like, see, I tried talking to my dad, so I did my piece, so now I'm gonna go do what I need to do. And he leaves.
Did my piece, now I peace.
And, Toba's, like, fully annoyed, too. He's like, frickin'. But he tells Wersed to, keep an eye on Lorenzo, figure out what his plan is, and come back and let him know what it is. And then Toba goes to take a hot bath and calm his nerves. So before meeting up with Lorenzo, Wersed goes to visit Lady Groga, who is in her calming garden, watching the servants tend to her flowers and stuff. And they have a nice long conversation. And she mentions how perhaps elves live too long. For in our years we learn so much, and then claim to know so much, and yet there's so much we forget that we don't know. And Wersed's like, that might come back later. So he goes, what? Freaking family. One sec.
I hate my family.
Okay, apparently they're going over to Erica's house to clean the grill. Anyway. So Wersed leaves the house, and he meets up with Lorenzo again, and Lorenzo takes him to this abandoned store in the Groga territory, where it seems like Lorenzo's been doing a lot of his mischievous deeds. He explains his plan finally. In essence, the plan is to give the king of Cadval a charm potion, a very strong charm potion, and have him renounce his title as king and give it to the Groga family, mainly Lorenzo. In other words, Lorenzo wants to be king. And we're like, yeah, sure. I don't know how I feel about this. And Lorenzo's like, but if I'd be happy. Fine. Think about it, and meet me at the apothecary house. And Lorenzo goes, and Wersed takes a look around, and he finds tied up ropes because Lorenzo had also said that he had kidnapped the princess and practiced the charm potion on her, but she had got kidnapped from him soon afterwards, so he couldn't see the full effects of the potion. So it looks like that she was here in this abandoned shop, and there was also a tiny bit of the potion left in a broken glass vial. So Wersed takes that and he goes over to a nearby shop called And All the Rest with the shop owner Nitch, who is a retired thief. And Wersed just asks for a vial and he pays too much money to get a glass vial, but he doesn't care. Oh wait, did you end up doing that or did you?
Say again?
Yeah, you did. Never mind. Yeah, you did that. You put it the potion in a glass vial that is not broken, and decide to go back to your house and think about things. So you go to your little apartment. And first thing Wersed does is he looks around, make sure there aren't any like bugs or traps, something that's keeping an eye on him. And he finds there's nothing in the house, but he does notice that outside there seems to be a couple that keeps surrounding the apartment.
It's weird.
Huh. Strange. So, Wersed goes outside, and he follows the couple that have been walking around his apartment, and, he's not that stealthy, so they do notice that he is, behind him, but they pretend like they take no notice, and they start getting off their path of circling and go towards the trade center. And Wersed follows, and he gets closer and closer and closer until they get to the door of the trade center, and the woman goes inside. It was a human with blonde hair and a male tiefling, purple skin, who's trying to blend in, which is kind of hard of his purple skin. But Wersed takes the tiefling aside, basically threatens him and tortures him and gets him to in public in order to find out that Lorenzo had paid these two people, refugees, to keep a watch on Wersed's apartment and to let him know if he were to go there. I think that's all they can. You didn't give him. Yeah, you gave him a few pieces of copper, and
literally 4 copper.
4 copper, which would do nothing, but it was something, and sent him on his way. Now that Wersed has a better idea of what Lorenzo's been doing these past few days, he goes to the apothecary and ends up being there before Lorenzo, and he talks to Varen. Again, in a very threatening way. He locks the door and then turns off the lights and puts the close sign out, and basically threatens Varen into kind of explaining the potion, which it's like a beta potion. It's kind of in the works. He's only done it beta testing. He's only done it the one time. It's basically just a charm potion where it's apparently supposed to last about a week, but the one test subject had disappeared, which was the princess, so he doesn't know.
For some reason.
Yeah. And basically Lorenzo has been commissioning him to do this for the past month, because that's how long the potion took to make. And also he has weed in the back. So figuring this out, Lorenzo actually comes into the apothecary shop. And he asks Varen for the second potion, and Varen outright lies and says he does not have a second potion, and Lorenzo gets kind of a little bit crazy and weirded out, and he's like, no, I know you're lying. I told you to make 2 potions, and I know that you did. And Wersed intimidates him enough to hand over the potion. So Lorenzo has the potion in his grasp, and he's like, yes, finally. And then Wersed, in congratulations, hands over the flask, which he had imbued with a little bit of alcohol and a little bit of that final bit of potion, and he hands it over to Lorenzo, and Lorenzo takes a sip, and that is where we left off. Alright, so Lorenzo takes a nice long gulp, finishes off the flask, and he takes a deep breath, and he puts the potion, the vial that Baron had given him, in his pocket, and he looks over to Wersed and he says, so, what do we do next?
Well, first, I'm gonna take these potions, and he's gonna quickly take, like he takes his arm and sweeps his arm, and he's putting all the potions in his bag in the shop.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, he's
Shit.
dead. Who cares?
Alright, so you start going over, and do you have like a bag to hold it? I guess you do, the backpack.
Yeah, my bag.
Alright, so you start filling it over. Okay.
I especially grab the potions of healing real quickly, and you can send me a list of what they are later.
Okay, yeah, there weren't any more healing
There were two.
potions, but there was superior and a greater, I think.
Yes.
Okay, let me just write that down. I know it's really quick.
Grab. The weed, we'll get another time, but
I'll get you the list of the rest of it.
Yeah.
But let me just write down. It was one
Yep.
greater and one superior healing. And then all the other stuff. There was like fire breathing, water breathing, poison.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. I think there was an invisibility one too. A couple of them.
Maybe.
So you start filling those up.
Yep.
And Lorenzo helps you out. He goes over and he starts filling them up and putting them in your backpack for you. It's like, okay, so we cleared out the shop. What do we do next?
Alright. Now, follow me, because I just remembered something. And I look around. Well, the body, is it, like, behind the counter?
Yes. I'll say yes, because you had intimidated him into the corner behind that counter, and he wouldn't have come back out. He handed Lorenzo the potion over the counter. He wasn't, like, moving around to that. So, yes, I will say that the body is behind the counter.
Alright, well, we need to get out of here quickly. Close the door quietly. Someone will probably find him the next day, but at least it'll look like it's a robbery, which, I mean, it is. But not for the purposes of what you intended. But, come on, we gotta get out of here quick. So, I hold the door open and I'm, like, ushering him out.
Mm-hmm. He follows.
Alright. So, without saying much further, like, without running, but I'm doing a brisk walk, and I'm starting to head for the Groga mansion.
Alright. Lorenzo follows you, like, keeping right at your side, but a slightly bit behind. Kind of like, you know, the Queen and how Prince Philip had to be like a half a step behind.
I'm also, like, almost 7 foot, so I just got long legs to begin with.
Yeah, so he's, like, right behind you.
As we approach the gates, is that redhead guard outside?
Let's see. Alright, so
They might have switched by now. That was like in the morning.
Yeah, it was in the morning. I would say yeah at this point. It's actually at this point it would be the dwarf and the human that look the same.
Oh. Hey fellas.
Hey, Wersed. Hey, Mr. Groga, how you doing?
Is he, as I turn and I look at him and I give a good, like, at least 10 seconds to look at his face. What
does he
am I
look like?
reading his expression as? Yeah. I could do a check if you want.
It's, yeah, I guess to find out how much you can get from it, I would say... Insight.
Wow! Okay. That's a lot.
Ooh.
21.
Alright, so looking at his face, his eyes are, kind of glassy and faded, kind of like as if he were to just come out of an all-nighter, working on a final paper, and then have to go to class at 8 a.m., that type of, look. But otherwise, his face, he's, how do I put this? From like, okay, so the dwarf and the human, they wouldn't notice a difference in him. He's just being quiet at the moment and waiting for your cues. But his face, it looks just like nonchalant, just going about his business.
Like slightly phased out. You're like, this isn't how you usually are.
Yeah, slightly phased out. He's not putting on his charm at all, but he'll act like himself. That's the thing. Like when he's spoken to, he will talk like himself.
Okay. So after I turn that glance and I keep striding in, as soon as I basically get in the main foyer, is any staff person in there, or do I find anybody immediately in the area?
It's later in the day. It's actually close to like dinner time, I would say, at this point.
Would I know where Groga Senior is right about at this time?
He would probably be heading off to dinner right now in the Great Hall.
We're going to the Great Hall.
Okay. So you do see a couple of guys wandering around, but most will be in the Great Hall.
The nearest one.
Okay. You grab a half.
If she's not in there, sorry. Okay. If she's not in there already, I need you to go find Lady Groga right away from Wersed. It's important. And if he ain't in there already, I also need Mr. Groga himself too.
It looks like this halfling was about to like mouth you off and be like, "Well, you go get him. What the hell? I'm not your servant boy." But he notices your face and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll be right back." Okay. So he runs off.
Time, let's go.
So he runs off.
Still beelining. So, striding through, I get inside the dining hall.
Mm-hmm. And you see, you're familiar with this room. It's where you have all your meals. It's not like, Harry Potter with the long tables. It's more like a cafeteria, I would say, with a bunch of different circular tables all over the place. And at the front, it's kind of like a throne, but
like a court castle.
Yeah, a court. Like the court table is up in the front, and you don't see Groga or Lady Groga there yet.
Okay. Alright.
And no one seems to be paying any mind to you. They're all drinking and talking about their spoils of the day and yada yada yada. It's pretty loud in there.
Oh, okay. I look for any other mook, and I grab him by the shoulder and I squeeze it, not threateningly, but I'm like, listen, I need you to clear out this room, like, in the next 2 minutes, or I'm gonna get really mad.
You serious, man? It's dinner time. No one's leaving now. Not after the drinks we've had.
It's going to be delayed, and he, like, really squeezed his shoulder this time, and some fire comes out of his nose a bit. Should I roll for that?
Yeah, roll intimidation.
That's another 19. Oh my gosh.
Oh, shit.
23.
Alright, so this guy is like, oh shit. So he runs over to, one of the guys who were standing along the side there and whispers, like, and all of a sudden, this other guy that he had went to takes out a horn and
Wow, there's a horn.
like, alright, you lot, get out of here! The Groga's got some business to do. Oh man, no, come on, we gotta
They'll be delayed. I promise you'll get extra dessert later on me. Okay, goodbye. Please leave, thank you.
So they all start mumbling, they're like, friggin', and mumbling and like giving like, dude, get out of here,
Yeah,
frickin'.
fuck you,
So a couple guys take a barrel of ale with them. They're like, come on, everyone, you can drink outside as well as in here.
We got more. Take it. It's cool. You won't get in trouble.
So within the few minutes, the room starts clearing out, and it is a mess.
I'm sure.
Napkins, food everywhere. It's ridiculous. And just as the last group of men are leaving, you see Lady Groga start to walk in. Followed by the halfling you had sent off. He leads her in and starts running off again.
Yeah.
And so
Good man.
Lady Groga's like, Wersed, what is the meaning of this? Where is everyone?
Before I say anything, I'm like, my lady, I go over and I shut the door. And I look out to make sure, like, no one's trying to listen and, like, no one's lagging around.
While you're doing this, she goes over to Lorenzo, and she says, "Are you okay?" And he says, "Oh, yes, mother, I am perfectly fine. Me and Wersed just had a stroll is all." "Oh, good. You look okay?" And while she's like trying to figure it out, because he's like not Lorenzo right now. And then finally, Groga starts, he walks in, yeah. I'm talking to my friend right now. Okay.
Wait, who said that?
My mom.
Oh, I was like, Lorenzo said that to
No.
who? And I got very scared.
No.
Like, oh no, someone's sending him a message. Oh no.
No.
Uh-oh.
No.
Conspiracy.
That was just me talking to my mom.
That's awesome.
Oh man. All of a sudden Lorenzo lifts into the air and goes, "Blah." No.
Oh my god, hey.
No. Anyway. So yeah, Groga, he walks in, and he looks rather annoyed too. And the halfling's just like bouncing. "I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir." He's like, "Alright, be off." And he sees, the three of you. I'm assuming you found out what Lorenzo's plan was, Wersed. Or you've convinced him to tell me himself.
Well, what I did most of all is clear out this hall, and I shut the door, and do I see any other doors open?
No, there aren't that many doors. There's the one in the back, which you came out of, and then it's just the one on the side, which...
The nice one.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I come back to them, and, you know, I look at, I'm looking at I phased out. I kind of tap Lorenzo on the shoulder, and I'm not going to cast any spells or anything. And I'm like, Lorenzo, you know, with how I've been feeling so festive. You should do a jig on the table. I know you got good dancing skills. And I'm not making a check. I'm just, telling this to him.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. So Lorenzo looks at you and he gives, a wise smile. He's like, that's a great idea, Wersed. Excuse me, mother. And he, in, the most dignified way possible, he gets up on the table and starts doing a jig, which is not as, as dignified as Lorenzo probably would have hoped. He's, flailing his arms and doing, an Irish jig and all that stuff.
That's a display, sir. Huh.
Lady Groga's like, make him stop. What is this? Wersed, what are you doing to him?
Lorenzo, take a seat. You're scaring your mother with the dancing, please.
Lorenzo stops and he says, sorry, mother. Don't know what came over me. And he sits down.
Okay. Sir Groga, Sir Lorenzo, look. You, sir, and I look to the senior, you continue this long line of tradition and business, and that is what I'm here, and that's what I stand for. The family and the family business, which is even bigger than you, and bigger than your son, and bigger than me. So, what I'm going to suggest is I will not tell you what is happening necessarily. And Lorenzo, I think you should talk to your father about most everything you told me today, because you two need to hash it out. And Sir Groga, he has an idea. In my opinion, I think there's some details that need to be ironed out and some things need to be changed, but there's something there. He's got a good idea. It's not all forgotten. And as you've seen, the effects are quite interesting. Lorenzo, you gotta talk to your father, because if you want this to work, you're gonna need his resources. He's got the experience, and I know you're excited, you're young, you're ready, but your dad's lived this long for a reason. He ain't been taken out anytime sooner for a reason. He survived this long, and I think it could work, but you gotta work with your dad. So please talk to him, and then Wersed just backs up and sits in a chair and does not say anything more.
Groga doesn't say anything either, but he has his full attention on Lorenzo now, and he is just silent, just watching him. Lorenzo he stands up. Father, I came up with this brilliant plan to help heighten the power of our family. Wersed has been helping me a little bit when we took out the apothecary.
Unknowingly, might I correct you?
Yes, unknowingly he has been helping me out to fulfill my plan. And Toba says, he's going to speak the truth, right, Wersed?
Sir, I hope he does, because I don't want to... We did a lot today, and I don't feel like doing stuff to him. So that's why, Lorenzo, this is your chance, because I refuse to play either side in either of your games. I'm not going to betray your trust. I'm not going to betray your trust. If anything, I'll just... Lady Groga, I'll put my allegiance to her if I need to in this situation. And flower gardens, I'll take that on right now. You two, father, son, you need to both put your prides away. Sorry, sir, I know I can't talk to you like that, but the honesty has to come out. So, Lorenzo, please, talk to your father. I think it's in your best interest.
Well, Father, you know perfectly well that the King of Cadval is a fool, and he does not belong on the throne of Cadval. I believe that the Groga family deserves to be at the top. And I believe you think that as well. So, I've been working for the past few months on getting this potion that will charm the king for a week at the most. And once he is charmed, he will renounce his title and give it to the Groga family, whoever we decide to choose. I hired the apothecary Varen to help me out. He is a very well-trained apothecary.
He was.
He
Wersed
was.
corrects him.
He was a well-trained apothecary, and Tova kind of flinches at this, like, he did what now? But he doesn't say anything. He lets him continue. So I hired Varen, and it took him about a month to make this potion, the first one, and the second one. He had to kill a harpy, which he did not, which he betrayed my trust in order to do that. But I got my potion, and I tested it out on the Princess Trijana. You did what?
Yeah, this is where some of the problematics come in. Because I offered that maybe I should be a test subject, and he said no.
It was very problematic at this point, my father, because I could have given Wersed the beta test, but instead I went with the princess. I had kidnapped her as she was on her way to the Eagle Cliffs, and I took her back to an abandoned shop and I tied her up. I gave her the potion and it worked for a while, but when I had to go off on some other errands, she was taken from me. So I couldn't see the full effects of the potion, how long it lasted for. But I believed that it would work long enough for me to give to the king and have him renounce his title to me. So I made preparations. I talked to a few of our staff to get the schedule of the king, see when he was at, oh gosh, what was the inn's called? What was the inn?
I was gonna give you a name, but I'm like, that's
Toll's
critical.
Finger. That's right. When he was at Toll's Finger, drinking his life away, and that's when I would go over and slip his drink. But I wanted Wersed to be at my side when I did this, because I knew if Wersed was at my side, you wouldn't stop me. Not immediately, at least, because you trust him more than you trust me. Lorenzo, that is not true. Wersed is a trusted ally, and I do trust you, but you make mistakes, and that is why I have to keep guards on you. And that is why I had to keep guards on Wersed, because I needed to make sure that when he was with me and helping me with this plan, that he would go through with it.
Thanks for that, by the way, Lorenzo. I sent your guy packing home. I'm not pretty happy about that either.
Oh, you sent him packing home? He really wanted to stay in Cheafeport. Such a shame.
Well,
now he's gonna have to.
I told him to take a week vacation. I didn't tell him to go home.
Oh, good. Because I don't think Remnen would accept him back. So I had these two refugees from Remnen keep watch on Wersed's house and have them let me know when he came back so that I could start my plan and also see if he was doing anything else. They hadn't found anything in the few days that they were watching his apartment, probably because Wersed was off with his friends, I suppose.
Undesirable associates, if you please.
And when Wersed came back, I found him at the Minstrel's Inn. They told me that he was there. And so, we put our plan into motion, and that was this morning.
So, I'm sure in your wisdom, Mr. Groga, there's some elements here that I think could work, and some other elements that need some work. Because, I mean, you know me, I was just a look on the street, and if someone told me, hey, the king's stepping down, I would be like, oh, wow, did he die? Or is his son, his daughter taking over? Oh, no, they're just giving it to some family we don't really know too much about, and they were made to be the next leaders of the land. I might find that odd, and maybe not trust it. So I think with Lorenzo, while his ambition is admirable, I think he aims a little too high. Whereas this plan, to maybe some other kind of official to help us gain some power through the government, I think that might be more sustainable than the entire kingdom. Plus, our whole business is the shadows and secretive. If we come out so much in the open, our rivals, our enemies, they're just gonna find us all the more easily. Whereas, slip a few people here, slip a few people there, we have access to laws and connections, and I think that could work. But the thing I'm most worried about is some of the boys that may have lent more in Lorenzo's direction than your own, sir. So Lorenzo, please, if you can quickly write down or name out the fellows who were directly helping you in this endeavor.
Lorenzo is about to list off the names when Toba Groga puts his hand up to stop him. You put this whole family at risk for a simple, foolish plan, as I thought you would. When you kidnapped the princess, tell me, was anyone watching? Lorenzo looks to you to ask if he should answer it.
Actually, that's a really good question. He brings up a point, because, I mean, you kidnapped the princess. You didn't just get some beggar off the street. Like, who was in on this job? Was it Vinny? Was it Tony? Like, who worked with you? Did you get it done right?
The fact of the matter is, the princess never returned. She was kidnapped from you, meaning you are the last person in Cheafeport known to have seen her. My sources...
Wait, I saw her. Sorry, I saw her, right? I met her?
You had seen her when you were sent to prison for like half a second because you snuck out with Nilla. You saw her in there. She was going to help you get out, but then you said no thanks. But she was on her way to save Biva. This was way back.
So thinking in this timeline, would I have thought that I saw her before she was kidnapped or after? Would I know that or not?
I would say you would probably know. Because she was there, okay, there was the day of the Incarnate, and you saw her standing with her family. Then, like, the god didn't show up and all hell broke loose. And then right that second, you went to jail with Nilla.
Yeah.
And that's where you saw her again. And then she wanted help, like, to save Biva. And you guys said no thanks, and then she left. So, it was shortly after that point that Lorenzo kidnapped her, as she was on her way to go save Biva.
Okay, so I'm not lying then. Okay, cool. Because I was like, am I accidentally lying? Am I neglecting?
Yeah, no, Lorenzo...
Sorry.
Lorenzo was the last person to see her.
Gotcha. As far as we know.
As far as you know. So she gets kidnapped again. No one has seen her. And my sources have told me that the princess is dead.
Oh.
She was found by Wersed's friends. in the Undercity of Flan. She was taken by the Pool of Radiance.
Oh, that chick. And just like Weirsed's like, oh, like it dawns on
You
him.
weren't there.
Like,
You weren't there for that.
Oh, I wasn't there.
No.
Oh, okay.
It literally happened today that they did this.
Oh shit.
So you just found out where your party was. This is what they're doing right now. They just saved okay, gotcha. Like they just found the princess and Groga knows about it. So this is news to you that the party that your friends had found the princess, but she was dead in a pool of radiance, whatever that is.
What are they up to? And Weirsed's just like,
that's weird.
Like, what are they doing? So he looks confused, but he's still listening.
The fact of the matter is, her death could be pinned on you and the Groga household. And now I've heard you have killed this apothecary, I'm assuming? Yes, so you killed this apothecary. I assume you took all of his potions and wares. So that's
I collected them, sir.
As any robber would. But now that's 2 instances that put the Groga household in a bad light above the Undercity. We have power in the Undercity, and you were above ground. I understand your wish to have power above ground. That is something that we are working on. But when we get power, we do it in the shadows. Everything you've done has been out of the shadows. You could have destroyed this family. In your foolish act to become king, whatever you wanted to do, it was a selfish thing that you did, Lorenzo. Not for the family. Whatever you were thinking, it was not for the family. It was for yourself and your lust for power. So Lorenzo, he starts blinking a lot. Father? You never trust me to do what's right. Every time. I may have made some mistakes, but my plan is foolproof. I could get the king to make me king, and that will make the Groga family a member of the Sovereign Circle. And no one can deny our power then. We do not want a seat at the Sovereign Circle. The Sovereign Circle is a circle for politicians. We are not politicians. We protect our own, and we rule the city from behind the shadows. We don't do it in the light. I don't know how many times I need to tell you this. And all of a sudden, Lorenzo looks over at you, Wersed, and he's like,
I cast Bane.
Okay, remind me what Bane is?
Bane it's a concentration spell, up to 30 feet, up to 3 creatures of my choice, but I'm only gonna make it Lorenzo. And he must make a charisma saving throw.
Charisma saving throw?
And I just look at Lorenzo, I'm like, you're feeling hot. Do not do anything stupid right now.
Is it 17?
Actually, I also had, bit into my hand, so a little bit of blood is on my hand as I say this, but, unfortunately, you, succeed. I think.
Remind me what Bane does again? What would have happened if I failed?
So, I'm just thinking, because it says attack/save charisma 12, so do I roll? No, you're saving on this. So you
it's a spell save.
Yes. Oh, so...
What's your spell save?
Yeah, it's 12. Okay. And you rolled 17.
Yeah.
So it takes no effect.
Okay. So he continues to look over at you, and he's like, so you're going to cast this thing, but Lady Groga steps in front of you, and Wersed, and Lorenzo, and she's like, whatever you two are about to do, I forbid it. And Lorenzo, it doesn't look like he wanted to attack you, but he looks deeply disappointed. Like, almost heartbroken. But that fades away instantly, and he looks over at his mother, and he says, don't worry, Mother. I have a clear head now. I apologize if it looked like I was about to do something else more foolish. And he looks over at his father, and he says, I'm sorry, Father. I was blinded by this potion and the power that it could have given me, and I almost hurt the Groga family, and it was not my intention to do so. And he gets down on a knee in front of his father, and he says, please forgive me, Father.
Lorenzo, please give him the potion. And I just sound tired.
Lorenzo looks up at you, Wersed, again. It looks like the wheels are turning. And then he finally takes out the potion. And he hands it over to his father. We don't know how long it will last, but it's stronger than most charm potions. And, as Wersed has fully displayed in front of you, it makes the drinker adhere to all the whims of the person who had given him the drink. In other words, it was a success. In my eyes, I only drank what I assume was a little bit. Perhaps the whole vial could last longer. And Groga holds this potion up in his hand, and he says, my son, you will never find out. And he smashes it on the ground.
Wait, I want to try and make a dex save to try and see if I can catch it.
Oh god, okay. But you're kind of far away, so do it.
Oh, if I'm too far, then
you could try. It would be at disadvantage, I would think, because you're kind of like...
yeah, that's fair. Because I'm like, no, wait. Hold on.
The Groga
Dex.
family... What? Are you doing it?
Dex. If you think it's even possible, or
I mean, it would be hard. Do it at disadvantage.
Oops. 7. Oh, it probably smashed on the ground. It's a 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it smashes, and it kind of like mists up in the air a little bit, and smoke and stuff. The Groga family has no need for such potions. Lorenzo, you are an adult, so I cannot punish you. But we will have eyes on you at all time. And you will continue to do what I tell you to do from now on. Should you wish to come up with any silly plans again, you must tell me, or else I will forego age, and the punishment will be severe.
Oh.
Lorenzo stands up. Thank you, Father. I will, as you say, do what you have told me to do. And he turns around. He doesn't look at you or Wersed, and he just starts walking out.
Wersed doesn't go after him. He just waits until he leaves.
And Groga turns to look at you. Thank you, Wersed. You stopped my foolish son from making an even more foolish mistake. Had this head gotten to the king, I do not think we would have been able to salvage the damage.
It's just, look, he could be a smart kid when he wants to, and I see the idea there, but I mean, you know politics better than I do, but I just think if some, no offense, sir, if some rando showed up and was now king and head of everything, people just, I don't think they'd buy it. I think they would just rise up and we'd just make more enemies. It'd be, just might hurt the connections that we already have. And I apologize if maybe stealing the potions was a bad idea. I figured at least it could look like a robbery rather than a murder of the old man. So, if you want those in retribution, you're welcome to have them, sir.
You may keep them, Wersed. I am not upset at you for taking the potions when they were so openly displayed in front of you. You've got to understand why I've done this. This is not to admonish my son or deny him his rewards. He is a smart man, much like myself, but perhaps he is too smart for his own good. For right now, age could fix this. You gotta understand why I had destroyed this charm potion. The Groga family worked our way up through respect. True, we use intimidation at times, and oftentimes we do steal from those who do not deserve what they have been given. If we were to use this charm potion to gain power, it would diminish our respectfulness. We will rise up in power, not because of a potion, but because of our own merit and respect that the people have for us. We are already in the works of making our way up in power in the upper city. The king of Cadval is losing followers every time he goes to that bar and drinks his life away.
Every day.
But there is still time. We are where we are because we know we can wait for power. My son needs to learn patience. For now, he does not have it. And that is why I have to have a firm hand with him. But in the meantime, I thank you, Wersed, for all you have done for this family.
Thank you, sir. If I'm to be honest, I mean, I know you're relatively pleased, but I still don't feel good about this situation. You know, it's I don't know. That's just ain't no other mook. It's Lori, and Wersed's beginning to look kind of sad, and he's like,
Groga steps over towards you and puts his hand on your shoulder. And he's slightly taller than you. Well, I would say by like a few inches. He's tall because he's an elf. But,
True.
yeah, he like reaches up, puts an arm on your shoulder, and he says, "You two have a lot more history than what just happened today." he will forgive you. He will realize what he has done is foolish, and he will get over it. What he won't get over is how good of a brother you have been to him. He will remember that. And he will come back to you one day. For me, I don't know if he will ever like me. But that's okay. That's what fathers are for. We're not friends. We are authority figures. Until the day where he can surpass my authority.
Well, if anything, he can, and without changing his tone, he just kind of looks at Lady Groga and he goes, at least he can be a mama's boy. And then he gives a bit of a smile at her.
She goes over and she puts a hand on you as well. Someone has to be the listening ear over here. Lord knows my husband and son don't have exquisite hearing. And he kind of looks over her and just kind of scoffs, excuse me, ma'am. Bitch.
Yeah,
bitch, I'm a great listener.
If you don't mind, you owe this lady a perfectly decent dinner for the aggravation that your son has put her through.
And I dare believe I owe my whole family a decent dinner after them waiting so long for their supper to continue.
Oh, sir, about that, listen. If you want to take it out of my week's wages, I did promise them second dessert. So we kind of gotta follow through now. I can't disappoint the boys, and if you understand me.
You can keep your money, Wersed, but you could pay it back to me by going back to what I had asked you to do before this whole business with Lorenzo.
Yeah.
I believe these tarot cards are a much better aim to raising our power than some silly charm potion. And I do not know where your friends currently are, although we have an idea that they are close to the undercity of Flan. But perhaps one day you'll meet up with them again, because I have some ears in Milenis that have heard tell of a mysterious magical card. Perhaps you can start there. So Milenis is in Numenduin, which is south. It's where most of the high elves live.
Before we return to a typical evening, sir, I make no suggestion. You do with what you want to do with it. But I at least know one individual who Lorenzo either persuaded or ordered around to kind of work more for him. So I don't know if you want to start putting your feelers out for who's been working for him. But redhead guard from earlier this morning, if you want to talk to him, or you want me to talk to him for you, he concerns me, I guess, so to speak. I don't know if he was, say, a good soul soldier listening to what Lorenzo had told him to do, or if he was kind of bought into his idea much more easily, if you know what I mean.
I will look into this guard that you have told me about.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about it, Wersed. We have a couple of fellows who are good at looking into this sort of thing. But thank you for bringing it to me.
Sir.
For now, I dare say you already have a couple rewards from this little excursion, but I do offer one more. If you would like to come with me.
Sure. I'll call them in as we walk on by.
So, Groga leans over and like kisses Lady Groga on the hand. It's like, my lady, as you were, I will see you later. And she heads off to go start rounding up people as well.
Goodbye, Mrs.
She kind of gives you like a wink as she leaves and heads out. And Groga puts his arm around you and kind of leads you out through the fence to your doors. Down a hallway, down a corridor, up staircase, down a staircase, around the household, till he brings you to the barracks of the Groga house.
Cool.
Now, we don't have,
It's been some time since I've been here.
I don't have, many to spare, but I do have 3 different items that you may be interested in having one of. So, I'll get rid of it later, but I'll put it in the text chat.
You can text it to me, or take a photo, so they don't see.
Well, I can delete it afterwards.
Oh, okay.
So...
Oh, yeah, because it won't be till tomorrow. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, there is a dagger of venom. Which I'll put it here.
Dagger.
Oh, what the heck? What? Why? Why did it come up like that? Weird. Hold on, one sec. Shit.
No dagger. No.
If you want to read what these are. So you can only pick one, like Pokemon.
Yeah.
So there's this one, Dagger of Venom. And, okay, there's a Vicious Weapon, and there's 2 of them. This one, it kind of just shows all of the Vicious Weapons. So, there's a Vicious Weapon of a short bow and a long sword. So, when you go on that screen, just look at the short bow and the long sword.
Okay, I'll take a look at them.
So, you get to choose one. And only one.
Sir, I'm grateful. I mean, today feels like the winter solstice, honestly. Wow. Thanks, I'll give it a think, but, thank you. And I'm sorry having to go through this.
When you've come to my age, this tends to happen within family. But the Groga family is strong, and we will work through this, as we do most things. So, yeah, so you're heading off to Manduin. So okay, so do you leave Groga to his
If you don't mind, sir, while I'm mulling over which one I wanna, do you mind if I stay here alone for a bit? It's been a while since I've been down here.
Of course. I shouldn't be keeping the lady waiting.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, sir.
He pats you on the back and then heads out.
Which one to choose? So now I can read. So it's two or 3 weapons to choose from?
There's 3 to choose from. There's the Dagger of Venom, and there's also 2 Vicious Weapons.
It's 2 vicious.
Yeah, I mean, this page that I showed you, it has like a bunch of different Vicious Weapons.
Okay.
And what they do, you see in front of you the long sword and the short bow. Which I believe are further down. Yeah, crossbow.
Okay, so the vicious weapon. Oh. Yep. you said it was a short bow?
Yeah, the short bow, which is 1d6 piercing.
Damage of the weapon type. And a long sword?
And the long sword, which is a little bit further down.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with that one.
I think they're all the same. I think they just do the extra 7 damage if you roll a 20 on your attack.
Yeah,
I believe they're all the same.
No. Yeah, no, totally. I'm just gonna double check my weapons, but I have a feeling I'm probably gonna go with Vicious Dagger.
The Dagger of Venom?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dagger Venom.
Okay. Cool.
I will add it to my equipment.
Dagger of Venom.
Dagger Venom. Nope. How do I? How do I add it on? Maybe I can only add it on.
Is it, do you see it in your items? You can...
I'll try to add it to my items. Excuse me.
When you go to D&D Beyond...
Yep, I'm here.
Let me go to one of my characters and try it.
Take a look at my... I guess I have to add it on my laptop, and I can't add it on in the app.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's just a view. So
Yeah.
I'll add it in. And plus, I'll do that when you send in the potion list, too.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can't do it, unfortunately, because I'm not the DM on D&D Beyond. Alright, so Dagger of... Actually, let me write that down. Let me write it down.
Plus, I do have to fix my stats, because somehow the number for my dex and my strength got switched.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that's incorrect.
So, you leveled up for all this. What level are you right now?
2. Hold on. I am. So, I'm a Bard 3 and a Rogue 1.
So you're level 4. Alright,
Yeah.
so...
I have to pick and choose which class I want to up.
So, I believe... Well, let me get to the rest of my kids over here.
My children.
My children. I believe they are almost on level 6 now.
Whoa.
So, I think I'll bring you to level 6. Because by the time you rejoin them, they will be. I would think. Well, okay, stay level 5 for now.
Up to you, baby. So yeah, level up, I gotta fix...
They only need like 3,000 more to get to level 6. Which I think...
Well, I mean, I have to go on that mission, so if you want me to do a solo mission and then meet up with them...
I mean, you're going to Mentwin and they're actually heading there too. You do have a couple more days. We might have to... Okay, so be level 5 for now.
I'm cool with it. If I'm a level behind them, it's alright. It just adds to the interest. Because I avoided a whole adventure.
Yeah, I mean, you still have... This is just one day. And,
yeah, exactly.
You still have, a couple days to go, so... So yeah. You also... Okay, so you pick your Dagger of Venom. If we want to end out this here. Alright, so... Is there anything else you want to do in Cheafeport before you head to Numenduin? There are 2 different ways you can get to Numenduin. You can go by boat, or you can take the long route and ride it out. Go all the way through Cadval, go down into Font, and then over to Numenduin.
Okay.
If you want to pull up the map, which I could send.
So, I might make that decision later, long way. by walking or by boat?
Because I would say if you were to walk, or, well, you have Vinny, or drive,
Exactly.
I guess, it would probably still take you most of that time just to get to Numenduin. But if you did it by boat, it would probably take you 3 days.
Okay. Because I have an idea with either option, but I have to start heading out. But I can still workshop with this with you.
Okay. Alright, so I guess I shall end the recording here with Wersed having a shit ton of potions now.
A shit ton of potions.
And a new dagger. And a betrayal in his hands.
I didn't do the betraying.
I mean, the choice was either betray Tobor or betray Lorenzo, and you made your choice. We'll see how that plays out in the future.
Oh boy.
Oh, yo. And I shall end the recording here.